The decision to leave Caitlin Clark off the 2024 Olympic roster was not a basketball decision, and the receipts from the last 18 months prove it was something much deeper and more personal. To understand the tension currently simmering at the Team USA training camps, you have to look past the official press releases about experience and strength of schedule and look at the digital footprints left by the legends of the game. Look at this deleted reply from 2 in the morning, shortly after the roster was announced. A veteran player basically admitted that the chemistry of the locker room was more important than the ratings of the broadcast. That is the smoking gun that confirms what fans have suspected all along. This was never about whether Caitlin could play. It was about whether the old guard would let her in. The real timeline starts long before the draft. It starts in the college ranks, where the seeds of this resentment were planted. For years, the WNBA operated like a private club where respect was earned through years of low salaries in empty arenas. When Caitlin Clark arrived with a private jet and $1 million Nike deal before even playing a professional minute, the hierarchy of the league was shattered. On her podcast Tuesday, a prominent veteran player said that rookies need to learn their place before they get to wear the red, white, and blue. That single sentence explains the entire culture war currently tearing through women's basketball. It is the old guard versus the new wave. The veterans, like Taurasi and A'ja Wilson, spent decades building a foundation, and they view the sudden explosion of interest as a double-edged sword. They want the money, but they clearly resent the person bringing it. Think back to the infamous "reality is coming" quote from Diana Taurasi. At the time, the media tried to frame it as a vet giving a rookie a heads up. But looking at the body language during that interview, it was clear there was an edge to it. Diana was not just talking about the level of play, she was talking about the physical and mental toll the veterans were planning to inflict. And they followed through. In the first few weeks of the season, we saw hard fouls that went beyond basketball. We saw Chennedy Carter deliver a shoulder check that was upgraded to a flagrant after the fact. And the reaction from the opposing bench was telling. They weren't just playing hard, they were sending a message. That message was simple: you are not one of us yet. The forensic evidence on social media is even more damning. While the public narrative was that the selection committee made the choice, the veteran players were busy liking tweets that questioned Caitlin's defense and her ability to handle the international game. One veteran player liked a post saying that the Olympic team is not a circus and does not need a sideshow. That is how they view the most popular player in the history of the sport. They view her as a distraction from the work they have been doing for 20 years. But the jealousy isn't just about playing time, it is about the marketing dollars. When the Olympic roster was released and Caitlin was the biggest name left off the list, the backlash was immediate. Even Dawn Staley eventually admitted that if they were picking the team later in the summer, Caitlin would have been on it. But notice who didn't speak up during the heat of the controversy. The other players on the team stayed silent. There were no public messages of support from the leadership group. Instead, there was a sense of relief. In the locker room, the veterans felt they had finally reclaimed their territory. This deep-seated tension goes back to the 2023 NCAA championship game. When Angel Reese made the "you can't see me" gesture, it was more than just trash talk. It was a cultural stake in the ground. That moment became the defining visual of a rivalry that the WNBA veterans leaned into. They saw the attention shifting and they chose sides. By the time the 2024 season was in full swing, the league was averaging nearly 800,000 viewers per game, which was a 21% increase over the previous year. But instead of a unified celebration, we saw a fractured league. During a matchup against the Connecticut Sun, Marina Mabrey shoved Caitlin to the floor in a play that was later upgraded to a flagrant 2. Look at the face of the veterans in that clip. There is no remorse. There is a sense of satisfaction. Even the technical fouls tell a story. Caitlin finished her rookie year just one tech away from a suspension. Half of those were for slapping the stanchion or showing frustration because the veterans were getting away with murder on the court. On the Bird and Taurasi show, Sue Bird and Diana actually joked about how many techs Caitlin would get in 2025. They were laughing, but the underlying message was that she would continue to be targeted. The psychology of this is fascinating because it shows a league in transition. The veterans are terrified of becoming irrelevant in a world where a 22-year-old is the face of the sport. They are using Team USA as their last bastion of power. They know on the court in a WNBA game, the talent gap is closing rapidly. Caitlin broke the single-game assist record with 19 and the single-season assist record with 337. She wasn't just a hype train, she was an elite floor general. But in the committee room, the veterans still had the leverage. However, the real smoking gun came during a recent locker room leak, where it was revealed that several senior players felt that their legacy was being erased by the Caitlin Clark effect. This wasn't just about one roster spot, it was about who gets to tell the story of the WNBA. The veterans want the credit for the years of struggle, and they feel the new fans are ignoring everyone who came before Caitlin. This resentment boiled over when the "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts appeared during warm-ups. It was a message to the league, but also a subtle dig at the massive endorsement deals the rookies were signing. When A'ja Wilson won the MVP unanimously in 2024, it felt like the veterans were taking a victory lap. They wanted to prove that while Caitlin had the eyes, they still had the hardware. But the numbers don't lie. Indiana Fever games accounted for 45% of the total broadcast value for sponsors. 1 out of every 6 tickets sold in the entire league was for a Caitlin Clark game. The economic impact in Indianapolis alone was over $36 million. The veterans are benefiting from this financially while simultaneously pushing back against the person responsible for it. This is the ultimate WNBA paradox. As we look at the body language in recent matchups, you can see the disrespect is not fading, it is hardening. When Caitlin hits a logo 3 and a veteran defender like Victoria Vivians or Alyssa Thomas just rolls her eyes, it is not about the points. It is about the fact that they feel the game they knew is disappearing. The old guard is fighting a war they cannot win because the fans have already made their choice. Every time a veteran player goes on a podcast and tries to downplay the impact of the rookies, they are just digging the hole deeper. They are alienating the very fans who are finally paying attention to the league. The tragedy of this soap opera is that it overshadows the incredible basketball being played. But in the WNBA right now, the drama is the product. The rivalries that started in the NCAA have moved to the professional stage, and the stakes are higher than ever. Team USA used to be a place of unity, but now it's a battleground. The veterans are guarding the door, but the rookies are already in the building. As we move toward the next international window, the question is not whether Caitlin Clark belongs on the team, the question is whether the veterans will truly accept her. Based on the receipts, the social media likes, and the podcast clips, the answer seems to be a resounding no. They will play together because they have to, but the respect is not there. The locker room is divided, and the fans are caught in the crossfire. This is the hidden truth behind the headline. It was never about a rookie transition period. It was about a power struggle for the soul of the league. The veterans want to keep the culture they built, while the new stars want to build something entirely different. And as long as those two worlds are at odds, Team USA will remain the most dramatic locker room in sports. We are watching a once-in-a-generation shift, and the growing pains are being played out on the national stage. The next time you see a veteran player give a vague answer about the rookie class, remember the deleted tweets, remember the liked comments, remember the hard fouls. The soap opera is far from over, and the next chapter is going to be the most toxic one yet. The players are talking behind the scenes, and what they are saying is that the league is no longer theirs. They are fighting for their lives, and they are using the national team as their final weapon. Even during the 2025 season, with Caitlin missing time due to injury, the ratings for non-Fever games were up 37% because the rivalry narrative has made the entire league a must-watch event. People are tuning in to see who will be the next one to take a shot at the crown. We saw this with the All-Star game, where the ratings dipped when Caitlin didn't play, but were still 52% higher than any game before her arrival. The power shift is undeniable. The veterans can try to hold on to the Olympic roster as long as they want, but the commercial reality is going to force their hand. Sponsors like Nike and Gatorade are not going to keep quiet if their multi-million-dollar assets are being benched for the sake of locker room politics. we are seeing the beginning of the end of the old guard's total control. The upcoming CBA negotiations are going to be a bloodbath because the rookies are going to demand a seat at the table that matches their market value. The veterans are used to a certain way of doing things, but that world is gone. The private jets are here to stay, and the sold-out arenas are the new standard. If the veterans can't get on board, they are going to be left behind in the very league they helped build. This is the reality that Diana Taurasi was talking about, but she didn't realize the reality was coming for her too. The transition is happening in real time, and the receipts are all over the internet for anyone who knows where to look. The drama is real, the jealousy is documented, and the fallout is going to change the WNBA forever. Whether it's a hard foul from a frustrated vet or a subliminal message on a podcast, the war for the WNBA is just getting started, and Team USA is ground zero.